Somebody's asking, do you believe in 50-50? Well, I'm not a roommate, neither am I a business partner. So when did I introduce my daughter to my husband? You can't be wearing this clothes anymore. You're married in my. How do you deal with people trying to tell you how to live your life after marriage? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa Williams and this is Time with First Lady. So with today's video, we're going to be doing a video about me. I asked you guys to send me questions that you want me to answer. So I'm going to just be answering them in this video. Most of the questions had to do with my marriage life, so I'm just going to answer these questions, and then maybe the rest I'll answer them in subsequent videos. So let's get into the video. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. So the very first question I got was, I don't know if it was a question or a statement, but the person started off with the statement by saying, you and your husband are my goals. The way he treats you, how did you get him to treat you like that? This person is definitely somebody from my Snapchat, because most of the time when he comes down, I post most of our videos, most of our pictures with us on our Snapchat. First of all, all I can say is this: that nobody has my back more than my husband. I remember when I was trying to find my feet, trying to figure out what to do with my life, he was the one, he was always there. When I said I wanted to start YouTube, he got me my camera, he got me memory cards, he got me external hard drives, he got me an iPad, like latest versions. All these things were latest versions that he got me for me to be able to start my content creation easily. I also told him I wanted to go into doing nails. Most of my snappers and most of my YouTubers know that I learned how to fix nails, and I went into nail tech. He paid for that too. And then I moved on and I said I wanted to learn how to sew. And then he paid for that too, and he got me a sewing machine and everything. I know what you guys are probably saying: a jack of all trades is a master of none, but yet better than a master of one. So I'm still trying to find my feet. If today I should say I want to go to school, I know my husband is going to support me wholeheartedly. And the question with how did I get him to treat me this way? What I have to say is, you have to treat yourself in the way that you want other people to treat you. What do I mean by that? My husband knows I don't joke with myself. I'm in love with myself. Before I ended up getting married, I made sure I fell in love with myself. So if you're in love with yourself, the person coming into your life already knows how you treat you and knows that you won't take anything little, or you wouldn't tolerate any mishaps or silly behaviors, for a lack of a better word. So yeah, and I remember from the beginning, I'm pretty old school. I'll probably compliment a guy and say, "Oh, you were handsome," but if I'm interested in a guy, there's no I'm going to tell the guy that, "Oh, I really like you." I'm very, very old school, and I like to be treated like a lady. I like when people open my doors for me, when my husband holds my bag for me, when he helps me get out of the car, when he pulls my seat for me to sit down and go to restaurants, when he protects me. Most of the time, I say this to him. I tell him that whenever he comes back, my brain doesn't work, because I allow him to treat me the way I like to be treated. And I think it also has to do with time. I taught him, or I explained to him, or I showed him how I wanted to be treated, and he was prepared to learn. It all depends on the kind of person you work with. Some men are emotionally not available. Some men wouldn't want to treat you the way you want to be treated. So you just have to make sure that you choose the right partner for yourself. I'm an Iris, and he's a Scorpio, and he's more of calm. I'm more of fire, you know. And even though we work out so well, because my husband is prepared to allow me to spread my wings, not all men or not all spouses would want their spouse to spread their wings. To my husband, the sky is the starting point, you know, and I really appreciate him for that, because if he was to be somebody else, the person would just not really tolerate a lot of the stuff I put him through. But he loves me and treats me well, and that's the most important thing for me. So the next question is, you told us in your previous video that your husband was boyfriend number 4. What made you choose your husband? And my follow-up question is, when did you introduce your husband to your daughter? So I'm going to start off by saying thank you very much for watching my videos. Yes, I think this had to do with the story time with my husband when he was explaining to you guys how he met me. Yes, my husband was number four. I think basically I knew what I wanted. I wanted a man who was strong in all the three P's, is strong in all the three P's. Someone who professes, protects, and provides. And as an African woman, that was very, very important to me. Yeah, the other things were important, but these three P's were like my topmost priority. All these, not to say that all these other guys couldn't do these three P's, but some of them were deficient at the last P, just to profess. You know how, I don't know, most of the people who come from Ghana will probably understand this. It's very, very difficult for a typical Ghanaian man to really, 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 really tell you how he feels, especially if this man is very rich, because he's probably thinking he could get any girl at any given time. But for me, I knew that I am the prize, and I knew I carried main character energy wherever I go. And I knew how much I loved showing how much I love somebody if I'm in love with a person. So there was no I was going to compromise on profess. And I wasn't going to compromise on protection because, like I said, I don't like to be thinking of my protection when I'm around you. I should feel like you're a man. And I'm pretty old school. For me, I'm very, very old school. So maybe that was it. When did I introduce my daughter to my husband? I think when I finally chose him out of the lot, that was when I introduced my daughter to my husband. Why? Because I didn't want to parade men in front of my child and render her confused. And then start asking me what happened to uncle this, what happened to uncle that when things don't work out and I have to give her an explanation. I didn't want to put my daughter through that because she'll probably form relationships and form bonds with these people only for me to break her heart by not going through with these people. So I introduced him when I felt like, okay, I want to start something with this person. And then it didn't even happen right there. I actually waited till I said yes to him when he asked me to marry him. Like that was like 6 months. You guys should go watch the video. Like when he asked me to marry him, I answered him in 6 months' time. So when I gave him an answer, before I gave him an answer, I was like, well, I have something to show you. He was like, what? And I was like, I have a child. And he was like, no, you don't. Look at your body. Look at you. You don't look like somebody who has a child. I was like, well, I do. And I introduced my daughter to him, and I could just see love in his eyes, and my daughter really, really liked him. So that was when I introduced them. The very same day I said yes to him. How do I deal with conflict? How do we deal with conflict? I wish my husband was here with this question because for me, my temperament, I am very, very hot. I'm not hot-tempered, no. But when things hurt me, they really, really hurt me. And if you allow me to sleep on the anger, I'll be able to think about different ways and means to prolong the conflict. So I always tell my husband that whenever I'm mad, let's talk about it there and then so that I don't have time to think about it and make issues out of things that are not really, really there. You understand? I'm very, very. I'm the light of the party, or I'm the life of the party. My husband is very, very different. He's very reserved and he's always to himself. Unless if he knows you, then he's just going to come all out. But most of the time, he's really, really to himself. And I think that's what makes our relationship very wonderful because of our different temperaments. If I was hot-tempered and if I was fire and my husband was fire, that would bring a lot of problems for the both of us because we will not be prepared to listen even when there is conflict. But I think being able to find the balance. Sometimes, well, most of the time I'm right. He will tell you. Most of the time I'm right. And it's only a few times that he's actually right. In that few times, I try to apologize as much as possible. But if we don't talk about it like immediately, I'll find conflicts out of nothing. So that's how we deal with conflict. We communicate immediately and then move on from there. We communicate immediately, apologize when you have to apologize, and then move on from there. The next question is, how are we navigating long distance marriage and your husband being a man of the uniform? This goes down to the same point as communication. That's what I want to start with. Because my husband can go weeks and I will not really hear from him because he's probably doing stuff. that I can't really talk about over here. But he can go weeks without me hearing from him, and it gets lonely and it gets depressing. And sometimes I ask myself, did I really make the right choice? Because even though I'm married, sometimes I feel like I'm single, and it's not easy. Long distance is not something for the faint-hearted, and especially, and it doesn't even just end there. It goes forth to even add him being a man of the uniform, and that's another thing because he goes for peacekeeping, he goes for missions, he goes for field ops. He's all over the place, and whenever he's back home, he's not even home to me. He's home at where he is. So most of the time, I can say in a year we spend like 30 days together, like physically 30 days together, and sometimes even less than 30 days together. And you'll probably ask, why doesn't he just stop this job and just look for another job? Well, I'm not gonna ask my husband to stop the job. Why? Because he loves it. And just like the way he supports me in all my endeavors, I'm willing to support him in all his endeavors. And just like the way he thinks, for me, the sky is the starting point. For him, the sky is also the starting point. So I'm not going to tell my husband to stop the job that he loves so much just because I want him more at home. No, I don't think so. I think whenever he feels that he's had enough, so he wants to have a change of job, he'll do it. But till then, I'm happy for him that he loves what he does, and I'm not going to be selfish to tell him to stop. The next question is, how do you deal with people trying to tell you how to live your life after marriage? I basically tell them it's none of their business. I basically just shut it down because you can't tell me what to do with my life. Like I said, my husband is not complaining. Who are you to tell me what to do in my life? Like when people see me and go like, First lady, you're married. How can you be modeling for this clothing line and then be showing your entire body? First lady, you're married. How can you be doing that? Yes, I'm married. Life doesn't begin and end with marriage. That's one. I remember one time I went to garage, and in fact I'll give you two stories. The first time I went to garage and then I met a friend of mine, and I was not just that my husband had bought me. My husband likes to buy me very, very sexy clothes because he loves me wearing sexy clothes. And that's how he met me. He met me wearing sexy clothes. So I'm not going to stop because we got married. And this lady was like, first lady, why are you? I thought you were married. I was like, yes, eh? Like, so? Yes, I'm married. Can you believe this person had the nerve to go call my opana and tell him that I saw First Lady and she was wearing really, really revealing clothes? I was like, yes, oh, you mean the green dress? Yes, I bought it for her. I'm going to call her and tell her you said this, and that you saw her at this location and you weren't really comfortable with what she was wearing. That's my husband for you. And the funny thing is, he was the one who even helped me pick out the clothes and the makeup and the dress to go to the club. So why do you think you have the nerve to pick up the phone and call him and ask and tell him what you just like? Another thing too is that when I got married, my lovely mother was like, "You can't be wearing these clothes anymore. You're married now. You can't be wearing it." So one time I was going out with my husband and I dressed up like I usually dress out, like very nice, classy but sexy. And then my mom was like, "You can't be wearing those clothes anymore. You're married, Maya." And then I changed into something extremely decent, or should I say modest. My husband was like, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, "Babe, it's a dress." And he's like, "This is not you. Go change into what's you." And that's what I love about my husband. I don't have to change any aspect of mine unless um it's going to put a toll on my marriage. I don't have to change any part of mine just because I married him. He doesn't want me changing any part of me because I married him, and that's why I love my husband. The next question is, don't you think you do too much PD? Some of you, eh? I love my husband and he loves me too. And thank Nsencheni Yankopon that he's not afraid to show me exactly how he feels about me. he's intentional with his actions, he's intentional with his words. Um, and that's not really common in a lot of marriages, you understand? And also because I knew what I wanted a man that would love me. My grandparents had a wonderful marriage, and I wanted a man just like my grandfather. So I made sure to look out for that. My grandfather was an intentional man. He was a provider. He protected us all the time, and he always professed to my grandmother, you know. And he was the gifting type. He used to really leave my grandmother with a lot of gold. Like anytime he travels and he comes back, you just get her maybe gold bangle or a gold necklace. It's a cool thing, you know. If you want people to see how rich you are, you must let them see through your wife, and that's how he treated my grandmother. Um, the PDA with my husband, I don't know what you want me to tell you because he's mine and I'm his. If I want to kiss him in the middle of the street, I don't know why it's your problem. I don't understand why you think it's a lot of PDA. My husband likes to treat me well, and I like to hold him. He likes to hold me. I basically like to show affection, and I don't need to come into my room to show affection just because you feel uncomfortable about it. So I don't know how to answer your question with regards to this PDA. Somebody asked, when are you guys having more kids? Like some of you, yeah. Sometimes you ask questions and you know, with this question, I could just say not to answer it, but let me just address this. People ask questions, and since I wonder if they actually put a lot of thought into the question before asking these kind of questions. Why do I say so? There's a lot of people going through stuff that are, because of those stuff, they're not able to have kids, or because of those stuff, they have to put kids on hold, or because of finance, they have to put kids on hold. And most people think that immediately somebody gets married, they have to have kids immediately. And you ask these questions to remind them probably they are grieving, probably they're trying to have a child but it's not coming, probably they are waiting on something, probably they have a timeline, or they have a time span of which they want to enjoy their marriage to before they start having more kids or before they start having kids. But you people like to put your noses where your noses are not wanted. Like, why do you do that? When we are ready, you will know. Somebody is asking, do you believe in 50-50? Well, I'm not a roommate, neither am I a business partner. I don't know where this 50-50 thing came. Like recently, a lot of men want to do a 50-50 with their wives and spouse. Well, if you come together and then you think about it and you talk about it and you both agree, why not? But for me, if you want us to do 50-50, no problem. So I pay half of the bills, you do half of the chores. Not a problem. You want us to behave like roommates, we behave like roommates. You want us to be like business partners, we behave like business partners. I don't believe in 50-50. And as a woman, I don't think any of you should believe in 50-50. If you want people to know that you have money, how about use your money to build houses or buy lands or wait when it's his birthday, just spoil him silly. You don't need to act like a man. And the men asking females to act like a man. You want us to be feminine, but you want us to also be masculine. You can't eat your cake and have it. So immediately any female asks you if you don't mind doing 50-50, please pick your bag and leave, because that man will be your roommate or your business partner, but not your lover. The next question is, I think it's the last one. I'm getting married. To any advice in regards to in-laws and finances? In-laws, for me, I feel like both ways, male, female in-laws, even your own mother, I feel you should keep third parties out of your marriage. You know, keep third parties out of your marriage. Let me give an example. My mom loves my husband so much. In fact, any opportunity she gets, she likes to spoil him, which is fine, you know. But there was this time I went to my mom's house with my husband. I think we spent the night, and my husband had finished eating. I had finished serving him breakfast, and I think I was taking a shower, and my husband was in the kitchen washing his plates, because most of the time when we are at our home and I serve him his food and I finish eating before him, he clears the table and then he washes the dishes. Can you believe that? My mom saw my husband in the kitchen and was like, Nana Fosia, that's the name she calls me. Why are you allowing my son-in-law to wash dishes? It is not allowed. I'm like, hey, you want my husband for me? Babe, please pack your things, we are leaving. What am I saying? I'm trying to tell you that what both of you have an understanding about, and the moment third parties come into your marriage, they try to put their noses inside and make it seem as if you, the female, you're being insensitive or the male is being insensitive. So try and keep in-laws away from your marriage as much as possible. Don't allow them be able to squeeze themselves into your marriage, because if you do that, you will not last in your marriage. It's only when it has come to um, it's only when it gets to a point where if you don't involve your parents, you will die or you will divorce. This is the only two instances where you can actually bring your in-laws into your marriage. Even that, don't go about blabbing everything to your in-laws. Do this against you later. You must be very, very wise in how you deal with these things. Otherwise, it will come back to bite you in the butt. Which moves me to talk about people who live in the same house with their in-laws. It's not advisable. Trust me, it's not. Because I have seen and heard a lot of my friends who are married and live with their in-laws, and every single time there's fire on the mountain. Every single time the daughter-in-law or the son-in-law is walking on thin ice. Even if it's just a single room self-contained, you guys can just move into that and you have peace of mind without anybody poking their noses into your business. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I hope I really answered all your questions. I think I did to the best of my abilities. Keep them coming. I'll do another video of Q&A maybe next month. I'll gather all the questions and then I'll answer all of them for you. So we meet again. It's been time with First Lady, and it's bye for now.